Joining me now is Congressman Adam Schiff of California. He's chairman of the House Intelligence Committee. And Congressman Schiff, I read that Tom Bossert article twice today. Scaring is caring, but I was actually terrified. Then you had the Politico story come out saying that the Nuclear Weapons Agency was also breached in this attack. And hackers in that case access systems at the National Nuclear Security Administration, which maintains our nuclear weapons stockpile. How much trouble are we in, sir?
Well, I think we're in deep trouble because this hack and penetration went on, as you pointed out, for months and months without detection. The actors, the bad actors here, used very good tradecraft. That is, they may have exfiltrated only so much data in a way that they wouldn't tip their hand. They would have probably had the ability to do much more, but didn't want to disclose their presence in our systems at these various agencies. And it will take months, maybe even years, before we know the extent of the damage. When we've seen other similar massive hacks and attacks like this, sometimes we have never fully been able to determine how much the damage is. So this is, I would agree with the New York Times, a massive, not only intelligence failure, but a defense failure, cybersecurity failure. And we're going to have to do a very serious examination about how this happened. You know, one other point, if the public reporting is accurate that it was the private sector that discovered this, that's another big question that our agencies are going to have to answer, which is, why didn't you catch this?
Well, absolutely. I'm going to play for you Russian President Vladimir Putin dismissing it and saying it wasn't them. Take a listen.
Russian hackers have never interfered in the elections. They have never helped Trump get elected. This is all just wild conjecture. This is just a pretext to try to solve the relations between Russia and the U.S.
So once again, he goes back to the elections, back to what we know from the Mueller report he did to help Trump get elected, and tries to throw all of this into that same soup. Donald Trump, who has benefited greatly from Vladimir Putin's support and has really sucked up to him, to be blunt, over the last 4 years and acted as if he is junior partner to Putin. Are you concerned that Donald Trump deliberately stood our federal resources down and allowed Russia to do this?
Well, first of all, Joy, that's a fascinating clip that you just played of Putin. Putin understands Donald Trump very well. He plays him like a fiddle. And one of the things that he understands, and you can see it in that clip, is if he can somehow tie this hack to their hack of the democratic institutions and the leaking of documents that helped elect Donald Trump and suggest it's all part of the same hoax, that none of it happened, he can really appeal to Donald Trump where he lives. And this may be why Donald Trump has remained silent. Now, I can't confirm what the attribution is here. I can say that I think the administration ought to make public attribution. That's part of establishing a deterrent. It will need to go beyond that and impose sanctions. I don't have a lot of expectation Donald Trump is going to do that, particularly if, and I say again, if the public reports are accurate and there are Russian actors behind this. Trump has shown no willingness to confront Putin. Now, I wouldn't say that he has deliberately set down our cyber guard, because we have good people at the agencies that are really trying to do their best. But we have had one very fundamental weakness, and that is we have not had a deterrent, because Donald Trump has been so sycophantic towards Vladimir Putin.
Well, he's also fired a lot of people that actually could have done us some good, right, in trying to protect ourselves. And, you know, the thing about Putin is he's not going to be dealing with Donald Trump in another 30-something days. He's going to be dealing with Joe Biden. And Democrats have been a lot tougher in their rhetoric. You had Senator Dick Durbin of Illinois calling this a virtual declaration of war. And here is what President-elect Biden had to say about these attacks. Oh, let me just read it to you. He said, I want to be clear. My administration will make cybersecurity a top priority at every level of government, and we will make dealing with this breach a top priority from the moment we take office, among other things, imposing substantial cost on those responsible for such malicious attacks, including the coordination with our allies and partners. Our adversaries should know that as president, I will not stand idly by in the face of cyber assaults on our nation. That's tough rhetoric, but he's going to need the support of the United States Senate. which is controlled, at least as of now, by people who are beholden to the same base as Donald Trump. So if Trump stands down and says, we're not going to be tough on Russia because of this, can you count on, and can we count on Mitch McConnell and company to be tough?
You know, you can't count on Mitch McConnell, I think, in any way on just about any issue. But I will say this. The Republicans don't agree with Donald Trump about Russia. I mean, privately, they don't agree with his sycophancy, his deferential character when it comes to Vladimir Putin, the false equivalence he gives between the Russians and the United States. They don't agree with that stuff. But when he is no longer in office, there is at least the prospect that they revert back to ideological form and are willing to stand up to the Russian threat. But I have to say, if you bet on the Republicans to stand up to Putin, in the past you have lost every bet. Whether they'll be willing to do so when he's on the sidelines hectoring them, still with their tweets, remains to be seen. But I think there is the prospect of a bipartisan coalition in Congress to hold the Russians accountable if, I say again, they are indeed attributed with this attack.
We shall see. Your mouth to God's ears. Congressman Adam, your mouth to God's ears. We certainly hope that you're right. Thank you, Congressman. I'm sorry, very quickly.
Oh, well, very quickly, it's not just this attack. You have to look at this attack in the context of other attacks by the same bad actors because they can accumulate the stolen data. And it's the cumulative impact of these thefts that's so devastating. And we're going to really have to up our game to defend against this in the future.
Yeah, absolutely. Well said. Congressman Adam Schiff, always appreciate you being here. Thank